Ever wondered how America, as we know it today, came into existence? The story begins thousands of years ago, with the first native tribes who journeyed across the icy expanse of the Bering Strait. They were the pioneers, the trailblazers, the first to tread on a land that would one day be known as America. Over time, these tribes flourished, diversifying into a myriad of cultures, each with its own unique customs, languages, and technologies. From the hunter-gatherers of the Arctic to the agricultural societies of the Southwest, the native tribes of America were as varied as the landscapes they inhabited. They built complex societies, developed sophisticated technologies, and forged intricate trade networks. They were the architects, the innovators, the dreamers. Their legacy is etched into the very fabric of this land, a testament to their resilience and ingenuity. These first inhabitants set the stage for the diverse and complex history that would unfold in the centuries to come. But how did this vast land go from being home to diverse native tribes to being colonized by Europeans? Let's take a journey back in time. In 1492, a Genoese explorer by the name of Christopher Columbus, under the Spanish flag, set foot on the Bahamas. Columbus was seeking a western sea route to Asia, but instead, he opened the doors to a new world. His arrival marked the beginning of an era of extensive European exploration and eventual colonization. Soon after Columbus, waves of explorers from different European nations like England, France, and the Netherlands followed. They were drawn by the allure of wealth, the promise of religious freedom, and the thrill of adventure. The New World was ripe for exploration and exploitation. As these European powers began to stake their claims, they introduced a host of foreign diseases, like smallpox and measles, to which the native populations had no immunity. The impact was devastating. Millions of natives died in the ensuing epidemics, causing a drastic reduction in their population. The Europeans also engaged in warfare with the native tribes, often leading to the displacement and decimation of these communities. The natives' traditional ways of life were disrupted, their lands seized, and their cultures often suppressed or assimilated into the European way of life. The Europeans established colonies, where they introduced their own social, political, and economic systems. These colonies would later form the basis of modern nations on the American continent. The colonization wasn't a peaceful process, nor was it without resistance from the natives. However, the superior military technology and organized tactics of the Europeans often tipped the scales in their favor. The European invasion and colonization of the Americas was a period of profound transformation. It was marked by conflict, cultural exchange, and the reshaping of societies. It was a time of loss for many, but also a time of discovery and the birth of new nations. The colonization of America by Europeans forever altered the course of history for the continent and its people. This chapter left an indelible mark on the pages of history, shaping the world as we know it today. How did these European colonies evolve into the United States of America? This question takes us into the heart of the American Revolution, a pivotal period in history that saw 13 British colonies break away from the motherland, setting the stage for the birth of a new nation. The seeds of revolution were sown in the mid-18th century. The colonists, who had been living under British rule, began to chafe against what they saw as unfair taxation and laws imposed by a distant king. This discontent sparked the flame of revolution, leading to the pivotal Boston Tea Party in 1773 and the first shot fired at Lexington in 1775, igniting the American Revolutionary War. As the war raged on, the colonies came together, united by a common cause. In 1776, the Continental Congress drafted the Declaration of Independence. Penned primarily by Thomas Jefferson, this document was more than a statement of separation from Britain. It was a bold assertion of the colonists' belief in their right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This declaration, more than any other document, encapsulated the spirit of the revolution and the ideals that would guide the nascent nation. After 8 grueling years of war, the Treaty of Paris was signed in 1783, officially ending the conflict and recognizing the sovereignty of the United States. But the task of nation-building was far from over. The next crucial step was the drafting of the United States Constitution in 1787. This document, the backbone of American governance, established the federal system and cemented the principle of checks and balances that would shape American democracy. The American Revolution was not just a war, it was a radical reshaping of societal norms and governance. The drafting of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution laid the groundwork for a new nation, one that was built on the revolutionary ideals of liberty, justice, and democracy. The revolutionary spirit of these early Americans birthed a nation that would grow to become a world power. What events shaped the America we know today? The 20th and 21st centuries brought about significant changes that have shaped the nation we see today. In the early 20th century, America found itself on the world stage in a way it had never been before. The First and Second World Wars saw the United States transform from a relatively isolated nation to a global superpower. These wars not only changed the geopolitical landscape, but also affected the lives of millions of Americans, both on the home front and on the battlefields. Following the end of the Second World War, a new struggle began, the fight for civil rights. African Americans and other minority groups began to challenge the systemic racism and segregation that had been a part of American society for centuries. The civil rights movement of the 1960s, led by figures such as Martin Luther King Jr., brought about significant progress, including the end of legal segregation and the protection of voting rights for all citizens, regardless of race. As the 20th century drew to a close and the 21st century began, America found itself at the forefront of another revolution: the technological revolution. The rise of the internet and digital technology has dramatically reshaped the way Americans live, work, and communicate. Silicon Valley became the hub of innovation, with companies like Apple, Google, and Facebook leading the charge into this new digital frontier. These events, among others, have played a crucial role in shaping America's identity and its role in the world. They have affected every facet of American life, from the economy to culture, politics, and beyond. Despite its relatively short history, America's impact on the world has been immense and continues to evolve. The America we know today is a product of these historical events, and as we move forward, it will continue to be shaped by the challenges and triumphs of its past. So, what does this brief journey through American history tell us? It tells us about the arrival of the first native tribes, the sweeping tides of European colonization, the fire and fury of the American Revolution, and the dynamic, ever-changing landscape of modern America. It's a reminder that understanding America's past helps us appreciate its present and anticipate its future. History isn't just about dates and facts, it's about the stories of people, their struggles, and their triumphs. It's about us.